Hey, I'm Dr. Steve Wander, author of Reverse Your Diabetes, Change Your Life. Hey, I almost have the same shirt on there. First, I'm going to tell you your story. I've been doing this for 22 years, since about 1998. Here's the story you guys tell me. You go and you get some blood work done, and whether it's for a life insurance exam, you weren't feeling so hot, it was your annual physical, you got some blood work done, normal thing to do. And you get some blood work done, and you get a call about 2-3 days later, and the doctor says, hey, Mr. Jones, you need to come into the office. Blood work is in. And you can tell by the tone on the other end of the phone, something is not good. So you go in, you make a 10 o'clock appointment, let's say. 10:15, you fill out a little paperwork. 10:30, you're done. 10:45, you see the texting by the staff behind the glass. 11 o'clock, you're wondering, did they forget about you? By about 11:15, so about an hour and 15 minutes later, maybe, you get in there, and the doctor comes in and says, hey, Mrs. Jones, I'm really sorry to inform you, you are a type 2 diabetic. Here, take this. They write the script. And I'm told, my patients tell me, before the ink pen is clicked, they're giving you that script. The script begins with M, ends with N, and sounds a lot like what? That's right, metformin. And so you're like, okay, this is it. This is what I got to do. And so then the doctor gives you, this is what I'm told, the doctor gives you this great piece of advice. He says, listen, Mr. Jones, what you need to do is change your diet, lose weight, exercise. What you need to do is change your diet, lose weight, and exercise. Meanwhile, the doctor needs to lose 30 pounds, him or herself. But what you need to do is change your diet, lose weight, and exercise. What kind of diet? Nothing's mentioned. What kind of exercise? Nothing's mentioned. Nothing's mentioned other than change your diet, lose weight. How much weight? Just lose weight. So then you're typically, depending on the prescribing habits of your doc, are going to start with 1 or 2 500 milligrams of the metformin. And the most common side effects patients tell me, and the research tells you, is GI dysfunction, usually like diarrhea, joint pain, or blurred vision. But you take it, and now you're what I call, you're in the pill for an ill model, the traditional model. And so you're taking your blood sugar, and then eventually you go back for a follow-up for some more blood, right? Whether it's 3 months later, 6 months later, 12 months later, I'm not sure, but you go in and eventually what happens? Blood sugar starts to shoot up, A1C starts to shoot up, and the doctor says, hey, Mr. Jones, you didn't listen. You didn't listen to my advice. I need to make a change. Now, what does a change mean in the pill for an ill model? Well, it means now, typically, you're going to go to the max dose of the metformin, which is 2,000 milligrams a day. And then the doctor's going to hit the drop-down arrow, and here's your future. You're going to go to one of the G drugs, glyburide, glimepiride, glipizide, Actos, Januvia, Farxiga, Invokana, Jardiance, Ozempic, that's the new one, okay? Falselicity, they call it Trulicity, I call it Falselicity, until eventually, whether it's a year later, 2 years, 5 years later, who knows, doctor waves his finger at you and says, hey, you didn't listen, I now have to put you on insulin. And unfortunately, that's how you're counseled for the rest of your life. And from what I'm here to tell you, this is a disease that is simple to reverse. It's not easy. Simple and easy are two different things, but it is simple. Listen, I understand the frustration. The blood sugar goes up, it goes up, it goes up. You think you got to starve yourself. You don't know what to eat, what not to eat. Do I exercise? Do I not exercise? And all the while, the numbers start to rise. And it becomes very, very frustrating. And I'm always a little surprised that most diabetics, I say, do you know what the complications are? And I would say 50-55% of them don't even know. So the CDC, the Center for Disease Controls, tell us the top complications are, number 1, heart attack. Number 2, stroke. You're 2 to 4 times more likely to have a stroke. Liver failure, kidney failure leading to dialysis, blindness, and amputation. And now, I don't know when you're watching this video, but we're in the coronavirus COVID-19. And trust me, there's another one coming, but we're in the middle of it. So I don't know when you're watching this. This could be years later. I don't know. But most of the people who are having problems with the COVID-19 virus are diabetic or pre-diabetic. So by having this disease, you are at a higher risk than the general population. for a disease that's simple to reverse. Okay? So it's very frustrating. Now, how did I even get into this? Well, when I was a kid, I was about 13 years old. My grandmother, she was diabetic. And my grandfather and her, they took me out to lunch. And the first thing my grandmother did is she laid out 13 pills. And I was like, what are all those pills for? And she said, well, baby, the first one's for my sugar, the second one's for my pressure, the third one's for my cholesterol, the fourth one's for my thyroid, the fifth one's for the side effects of the first one, the sixth one's for the side effects of the second one, and on and on. And my grandfather, he wasn't a formally educated man, but he always taught us life lessons. And one of the life lessons he taught us was, if you can't make it make common sense, it can't be true. And I was like, well, that does not make sense. And I saw my grandmother's health trajectory go downhill very, very fast. Oral medication after oral medication, insulin, dialysis for her kidneys, amputation of her right foot, until about 3 months after that lunch, she was gone. So that's why I'm doing this, because I know that some of you have a grandmother and you saw that, or a grandfather, or some of you now are grandmothers or grandfathers, or mothers and fathers. And my mission is to make sure that you or your family members do not suffer the way my grandmother did. It is my mission. And I'm here to tell you that it is simple to reverse this disease. But first, I need to explain to you, what does reversing the disease means? It means to reduce and eliminate your need for your prescription medications across the board. Not just the blood sugar medications. If I said, usually I do this talk in a group setting, but we can't do it now because of COVID-19, right? But if I was in a group and I said, hey, raise your hand if you are on the diabetic cocktail. And so you would first say, well, what's the diabetic cocktail, doc? And I said, listen, blood sugar medication, blood pressure medication, statin, or lowering of the cholesterol medication. 95% of you are going to raise your hand. Then I ask, hey, of those people who are on blood pressure medication, how many of you don't have high blood pressure? And how many of you are taking the lowering cholesterol medications, a statin, don't have high cholesterol? Half of the room, the hands are going to go up. Now, one thing that's very important, should we take someone as a case for our program, we only take 8 cases per month, by the way. We handle 3 different main conditions, okay? Reversal of type 2 diabetes, reversal of early Alzheimer's and dementia, and thyroid and autoimmune disease. We take 8 of each case. We never tell you what to do with your medication. We send you back to the prescribing doctor when it's time, based on what? Math. Used to have a mentor years ago. He said, numbers don't lie. People lie, but numbers don't lie. Based on your numbers, and we teach you how to talk to your doctor. Not tell them what to do, but have a conversation. What patients don't understand is you guys don't know how to communicate with your doctor. We're going to teach you how to communicate, not talk. Communicate. That's 2 different things. And so when we say reverse diabetes, it means reduce and eliminate the medications across the board. The diabetic medications, blood sugar, blood pressure, statin, thyroid medications, things like that. Lose weight without exercise. 30% of you are in something called adrenal fatigue, and if you're in stage 7 or 8 of adrenal fatigue, exercise is the worst thing for you. Get a good night's sleep. Get your energy back. Okay, men go into something called male menopause, where the hormones get messed up. And when the hormones get messed up, they can't get blood to their male organ, and you get something called ED, okay, which stands for erectile dysfunction. Very, very, very common in men. I had a patient the other day. I asked him. I said, "Do you have any ED yet?" And he said, "You mean like everything's dead down there?" Yes, that's what we mean by that. But can be handled and can be fixed when we pick the right patient. When we pick the right patient for our program, we rarely see a patient fail. Our program is in 3 pillars. The first pillar is priorities. You as the patient, you must have the right priorities, okay? And you must be able to, second pillar is focus. You must be able to follow a plan from beginning to end, okay? And the good, if there's a good thing ever about being diabetic is you see your blood sugar numbers, you see the trend of it, okay? And the third part is the system. We have the system, but if the system is unbelievably fantastic, but you don't have the right priorities, or you can't follow and focus, then as good as the system is, it's not going to work. You know, a lot of people say, well, what does your program do? Our program gives you time. Time. Think about how important is time in today's day and age, right? When your phone freezes for 2.7 seconds, or your laptop or your computer freezes, the world comes, oh my God, this piece of junk, 2.7 seconds. But listen, that's seconds. We're here to give you your years back. In today's day and age, with the internet and everything, the information's out there. Now what happens is sometimes you can get a little skewed and you get a little overwhelmed and you don't understand. But what we're able to do is give you not the information, but get you the information in a way that is palatable to you, so you can follow it and follow a step-by-step program. And you should have been sent an email before you sent this of many success stories of people lowering their blood sugar. And here's the thing, you can't deny it. Why? Because it's on paper, it's on numbers, of the numbers normalizing. Usually that means lowering while coming off the medication that your prescribing doctor started the process of lowering, coming off. Okay? So it's very frustrating for me when this information's out there, but yet you're stuck in the pill for an old model. That old model, some of you are probably old enough to remember Blockbuster, right? Where's Blockbuster now? It's all closed down, right? What happened? Well, a better product and service came out. At the time of this filming, it's called Netflix. Maybe Netflix will be the old Blockbuster later on. I don't know. What happened? It's just a better service. It's just a better product. I mean, now in this day and age with the COVID-19, I don't know if you're watching, like, how much Netflix are you watching? A lot, right? So we save you time, okay? Because what you need to think about is, why do I need my diabetes reversed? You know it's harmful, but why? Maybe, you have 3 grandchildren under the age of 18 and you want to see them graduate from high school, and the baseball games and the soccer games and the recitals and the dances and all that stuff. Maybe it's that. Maybe you're getting ready to retire and you want to travel the world. Maybe you've seen someone in your family or a close friend who suffered the complications. You saw them have to go to dialysis. You saw them have to get around without, their foot, like my grandmother. They can't drive anymore because they can't sit. We had a patient the other day. They said, "Doc, patient wants to see you. He says what we're asking him to do is too hard." I said, "Really?" So I go in, "Mr. Smith, what's going on?" They said, "What we're asking you to do is too hard." He said, "It is, Doc, it's hard." I'm Mr. Smith. It's not hard. I'm not telling you it's easy, but it's not hard. He said, "Well, if you don't think what that is hard, what would be hard for you?" I said, "Well, you know what would be hard? If you had to get someone to take you to dialysis 3 times a week, 4 hours a day, that's hard. If you just got your right foot cut off like my grandmother and you had needed help getting around with one foot, that's hard. If they took away your driver's license because you couldn't see anymore, that's hard. What we're asking to do is not hard. It's not easy, I know, but it's not hard. But if your priorities are there, your focus is there, you can follow a system, you can have a step-by-step plan for someone, us, that can lead you along the way, and you can have confidence that we have done this literally thousands of times. How do I say it's simple but not easy? Well, what we're going to do is pick you up, shake you till all the change comes out of your pants, and by meaning that, we're going to test you. We're going to find out, here's the model you're in now. Mrs. Jones, your blood sugar's high. Let me give you something to bully your body so it kind of looks pretty on paper. And to be honest with you, usually it doesn't even work that well, okay? So that's just covering it up. What we call that is treating the smoke and not the fire. What we're going to do is treat the fire. Where there's smoke, there's what? Say it. fire. That's right. We're going to treat the fire. Do you have fatty liver? Do you have leaky gut? Do you have adrenal fatigue? Do you have a thyroid issue? Do you have an autoimmune issue? I can tell you what it's not. It's not that you need to lose 25 pounds. It's not that it runs in your family. Type 2 diabetes has no genetic component. It's not that you just turned 58 and now all of a sudden you can't regulate your blood sugar. It's not that. It is all of these things, systems and organs and systems in your body that are not working properly. We're going to find them. We're going to step by step come up with, I know this sounds crazy, listen close, a customized plan for you based on, hold on, your test results. Customized plan for you based on your test results, and come up with a plan to reverse your issue. Because listen, I don't know how many people are watching on this webinar, but if there's 100 people, do you think you all have 100 reasons on why you can't regulate your blood sugar? No, you don't. So, but you guys are all on the same plan. Okay? Metformin, glyburide, glimepiride, glipizide, Actos, Januvia, Farxiga, Invokana, Jardiance, Falselicity, call it Trulicity, Ozempic, insulin. Okay? And I've never in 20 some years asked a patient who was on insulin, hey, did they even test you to see if your pancreas is secreting insulin? Because 99.999999999 times out of 100, it is. So it's kind of like giving an alcoholic alcohol, because if your pancreas is secreting plenty of insulin, but it can't get into what we call the receptor site, like if this is the insulin, it needs to go in here, but this is covered, or it can't get in here because it's worn out. It's called insulin resistance. We don't have time to get into that today, but insulin resistance. Then if you get more insulin, and you were already producing insulin and you can't get that to get where you needed to go, you just made the problem worse. Okay? So we need to look. Like I have a daughter, she's 6, right? Everything's like, why? Sophia, brush your teeth. Why? Go to bed. Why? Eat your vegetables. Why? Floss your teeth. Why? Everything's why. But what we do is say, why is this not working? Why isn't it? What's not working? And then we look at it. Right? We look at it from afar, like you're 30,000 feet up in the air. We say, okay, let's see what's our plan of attack. Let's come up with a plan to finish this off. Here's the best thing now. What we've learned, we've done this for years, but what we've learned is that our methods of treatment and testing can be done all over the world virtually. I mean, you're watching me virtually now. Why couldn't I tell you what to do virtually? Why couldn't I send you what you needed? Why couldn't I send you a test kit? Why can't I send you a supplement? Why can't I can? So what happens now is we can help more people globally because we can do it with technology. So if there's anything that came good out of COVID-19, at least that is good because it removes a barrier, right, for the patient. Right? What's a barrier? I got to get in my car. I got to go sit in traffic. I got to wait for the doctor. The doctor comes. Hey, now from the comfort of your own home, from your office, from your car on speaker, right? Not, you don't want to be on the phone. We can get you what you need and monitor you and hold you accountable so you can get the results that you need. So, if that's something that you think you might be interested in. And listen, here's a very important thing. Your health must be your number one priority in your life, more important than anything and everything. That is something that is non-negotiable for making an appointment for a consultation. Your health must be your number one priority. Okay? Number 2, your spouse, by spouse I mean spouse, live-in, boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, they must be on the consultation with you. Why? We need to evaluate that person. Can they support you in the method that you're going to need? And sometimes we don't take a case because of the spouse. Okay? You must be willing to give up your favorite food. We'll go over food stuff and things like that. Everybody thinks there's some magic diet. There's not. And by the way, you won't have to starve yourself. You can eat as much as you want. But we need to test to figure out which foods are good for you individually. So I hope didn't take too much of your time today. Hope you learned something. If you're interested to see if you're a good candidate for us so we can go through what I call the qualification process to see if we can take your case, somewhere on this page is a link. So sign up. We'll get in touch with you. We'll do a Zoom call depending on what's going on in the world today. I hope you learned something, and I look forward to helping you. Thank you so much.